Chef Whitney here from Fort Worth Country Day. Today we are going to be making shepherd's pie. For the tools you'll need, a cutting board, a chef's knife, two pots, one big and one small, a peeler, a strainer, a rubber spatula, a potato masher, a sauté pan, a baking pan, and one large bowl. So the first thing we're going to do is prepare our mashed potatoes. We're going to peel the skins off our potatoes, cut them up into large chunks, even sized, and put them in a bowl of cool water. The reason we're soaking our potatoes is because potatoes have a starch called amylose, and we want to soak it and kind of rinse some of that off so that our mashed potatoes aren't gluey or pasty. Now that our potatoes have soaked, let's drain them. Add them to our stock pot. Fill it with cool water. You want to cover the potatoes by about 2 inches. And when you're boiling potatoes, you want your water to be as salty as the sea. Okay, let's get our potatoes cooking. Turn on your stove. And you want to start your potatoes in cool water and let them come up. You don't want to add your potatoes to water once it started boiling. Put your lid on, and we're going to wait until it starts boiling and then check them. So now we're going to heat up our milk and butter for our potatoes. You never want to put cold milk and butter into your potatoes. So our potatoes have finished cooking. I drained them and have put them back in the pot. So now I'm going to add some of our butter and milk. I'm going to use my potato masher and mash it. Make sure to taste your potatoes to see if they need any extra seasoning, and then set them aside until we need them. So now we're going to make our beef broth. We're going to boil 1 cup of water. So turn on your stove. And once your water is boiling, add about a tablespoon of beef bouillon and mix it until it's all dissolved. And then we're going to set this aside until we need it. So now we're going to steam our peas and corn. Turn on your stove. I have just a little bit of water we're going to bring to a boil. We'll put our frozen peas and corn in just to bring them up to temperature, and then drain them and set them aside until we need them.
Go ahead and set your oven to 375 degrees.
And now we're going to chop up half an onion, about 5 mushrooms, and 2 cloves of garlic. Okay, and now we have our garlic, our mushroom, and our onion, and it's time to go start cooking our ground beef.
So first, let's turn our stove on, and we want to wait for our pan to get hot before we start adding anything to it. But first, we'll add our butter, and then let's go ahead and add our garlic, our mushrooms, and our onions, and we're going to cook this until the onions start to become translucent and we get a little color on our mushrooms, and then we'll season it with salt and pepper. So now let's add our ground beef, and don't forget to season it. So we just drained all the excess fat from our ground beef, and now we're going to sprinkle 2 tablespoons of all-purpose flour on the meat, and then we're going to add in about half a cup of beef broth. And while this is cooking, the flour will cause the broth to thicken. So the last thing we need to do before we're ready to start building our shepherd's pie is we need to finish off our mashed potatoes. We're going to add in liquid eggs, about half a cup, And then we're also going to add in about a third a cup of Parmesan cheese and mix it all together.
And now it's time to start building our shepherd's pie. The first thing you want to do is spray your baking pan with pan spray to make sure that nothing sticks to it while it's cooking. Next, we are going to add our ground beef to our pan and make sure to flatten it out. Now add your peas and corn and mix it in with the ground beef. All right, and now let's top it off with our mashed potatoes. And let's garnish it with some paprika. And now it's ready to go into the oven. We're going to put it in for about 25 minutes and then we'll check it. So I just pulled the shepherd's pie out of the oven and you can see that it's getting some nice color on top. So it's good to go. And there you have it, a delicious shepherd's pie. Thanks, guys, for cooking with me. See you next time.